Hi everyone, welcome to Star Citizen's next star system, NYX. Today we are going to shine some spotlights on one of the most important and most beautiful locations in NYX, the Glaciem Ring. NYX is an unclaimed planetary system situated at the border of a dark nebula. At its heart lies an F-type main sequence star, orbited by 3 planets and 2 sprawling asteroid belts. As you travel towards the primary landing zone in this system, your path will take you through the inner asteroid belt, the Glaciem Ring. The Glaciem Ring, designation NYX Belt Alpha, is a dense asteroid belt located between the 2nd and 3rd planets in the NYX system. The belt is home to many old and decommissioned structures like the breaker stations and more left behind by QV Planet Services. For years, miners from throughout the verse travel to the ring to make their fortunes. The largest object in the belt is called Delamar, an enormous asteroid and home to the famous mining facility Levski. Outlaw raids in NYX are believed to operate out of bases established within the depths of the belt, and recently it also became a hotbed of Vanduul activities with numerous attacks occurring every year.
In the current Star Citizen Alpha 4.4 Pt.2 patch, we do not have any planets in the NYX system, which I hope they will add them in the next year or two. But if you look at your star map on your mobiGlass, if you go to any of the star systems, for example Stanton, and you will see the planetary orbital lines. In Stanton, we have 4 orbital lines. Each line indicates a planetary system. Also in Stanton, we know that there is an asteroid belt called Iron Halo where you can do a lot of mining. However, on the star map, there is no indication of the Iron Halo, even though we know it is between ArcCorp line and Crusader line. So between the 2nd and the 3rd orbital line, but we do not see the indication for the Iron Halo. And that is different in the NYX system. So if you go into the NYX system, even though we do not have any planets, but you see a line. So this is not the orbital line. This line indicates the actual physical Glaciem belt. And Levski and Delamar is one of the stations on the belt. So this entire circle indicates the Glaciem Ring. When you do quantum travel, you can even see the Glaciem Ring sometimes, and you can travel with the Glaciem Ring. And the ring is a huge circle. And later in the video, we're gonna measure the diameter and the width of the Glaciem Ring. The Glaciem Ring is an asteroid belt. It's made of rocks, asteroids, full of them. The lightings for the Glaciem belt is also different in different parts. And some parts of the Glaciem belt, you can even watch the sunrise, as what I'm looking at right now. Beautiful. And this part of the Glaciem belt, not only you can watch the sunrise, and if you look around, you can see a black patch goes through the belt. The lighting here is darker. And if we fly deeper into the belt, the background color, it's even darker now. If you look at the dark backgrounds and do a ping on your ship, you can see there's full of rocks. As you fly into different parts of the Glaciem belt, the darker color gradually turn into lighter color, and you have different layers of colors. Even the rock has different shadows. And gradually turns into lighter color. What a marvelous lighting! And in the background, you can see that red nebula, and that's the Vanduul space. And here are full of rocks. And for the debris like this, you can see it's a little pixelated. I feel like that's unnecessary. Because when you look close, they don't match with the background, but they're there. And they are not physical objects, not like the rocks. The rocks are physical objects. If you hit the rock, you can see your ship is bouncing around. Oh, I lost a wing. So these rocks, whether it's small or big, they're all physical objects. But the debris, they are not physical objects. Here is the Glaciem Belt sunrise. Even though the NYX sun does need some work, if you look closer, it looks like this, very pixelated. So it needs some work to make it look a lot better. And as you fly closer to the edge of the belt, you don't see that black patch anymore. So it's closer to the sun. So as you go deeper or go behind the belt, you will see deeper colors. And the width of the asteroid belt is wide. And I want to measure it. See how wide this belt really is. Now here, we have very little rocks. But you can see the belt behind me. So let's say here will be one end of the belt. And then we're gonna fly to the other end of the belt to measure how wide the Glaciem belt really is. And now I'm gonna drop a beacon. So this Fury LX is my beacon. And now I'm gonna fly the Valkyrie to the other side of the belt. Now I have reached the other side of the Glaciem belt. And the view here is also amazing. So here has very minimal rocks. And let's see how far is from my Fury. 860 kilometers. So the width of the Glaciem belt is about 850 to 900 kilometers. Now let's fly through this belt. And now I have reached the other end of the belt. And my ship should be right here. And this is the Fury that I left here earlier. Oh, I just rammed into it. Now, how about the radius or the diameter of the Glaciem belt itself, the entire belt? This is very easy to measure. Just jump to any point on the belt and then target the sun. Click route. You will see the distance between whatever point on the belt to the sun is about 15 gigameters. And that will be the radius for the Glaciem belt. The diameter will be 30 gigameters. The distance between any point on the belt to the sun is the same. So the sun has to be at the center of the circle. And it looks like it is. I would hope that it is not, that the belt is some kind of elliptical, but looks like it's a perfect circle. So diameter is about 30 gigameters. As you travel toward Lavsky, the main landing zone in the NYX system, if you stop your quantum halfway, sometimes you can see the Glaciem belt on your left or on your right. And the background, you will see darker nebula. When the belt is close to you, you can see that beautiful lights. And because the belt is in a huge circle, you can see the end of it. And the front also diminishes when it gets further away from you. Now, if I travel toward the belt, stop when I get really close to the belt, stop right here. Now, we are even closer to the Glaciem belt. The gradual shades of blue gradually mingles with the dark background. And the dark background also has different shades. When it gets closer to the Vanduul space, the darker nebula has red shades. What a marvelous use of color. Now, I'm going to jump through the belt. The belt is on my right hand side now. And you can see it crosses the sun. Wow. And on the left hand side, you see that dark nebula. And then the Glaciem belt in the front pierces through the dark nebula. Absolutely amazing. This is one of the most beautiful places in the whole verse. Now, I'm further away from the Glaciem belt. The Glaciem belt looks thinner now, but it crosses the sun right in the middle of it. And look at the surroundings. It's beyond what I can describe. And the dark nebula itself is a beauty. See the either stars or galaxies light up in the nebula. Now, inside the Glaciem belt, you can see different colors of blue lines. The lighter blue lines contrasted against the darker color of the background. And you can see each of those blue lines has more denser rocks. So each of the blue lines means there's a lot more dense rocks, and that formed the blue lines. And you have multiple blue lines across the whole belt, and there are millions or even billions of rocks. And some of these rocks are huge. That's why the Glaciem belt is one of the major POIs for space combat missions. I also see some kind of structure in that big rock. Let's fly there and take a look. There is a station built on this rock. This is just one of the random places in the Glaciem belt where there is a space combat mission. Yep, this is definitely cargo dock. And the station arms. I can see there is a hangar right here. There's a station turret and more station turrets. So this might be one of those abandoned stations. Imagine the amount of missions that this game can create around the Glaciem belt. So in the very first NYX patch, which is 4.4.0, we are getting some space combat missions around the belt against human pirates and also against the Vanduuls. And this is such a beautiful place to do space combat missions. Armed torpedo. Fire. Oh, what a beautiful hit. Fire.
fucking fire! Ah, shit the bed!
Okay.
Arriving the QV station. These QV stations are one of the major mission locations for NYX. And according to CIG, we have around or even over 300 of these QV stations around the Glaciem belt. So these are PvE missions. And with these many QV stations, we'll have much less chance to encounter other players. So if you accepted one of the QV station missions, most of the time, it's gonna be your station. So you don't have to worry about meet other players, do some PvP. So that you can just enjoy the full scope of PvE in these QV stations. And these stations are huge. Now, around these stations, you'll also encounter some Vanduul fighters. For humanity! Shall